Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Santosh Mataji, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. I heard your beautiful tribute to His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami
Oh,
Maharaj.
thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yes.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Shabani. Hare Krishna, Girish Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Vishal.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Jyoti Mataji. So today we're going to have Sanskrit from Hema Mataji.
Selflessness, humility,
And
compassion.
one second, let me just mute. No. Okay, I think everybody's muted. Sorry, yes. So Hema Mataji will do the Sanskrit today. Anybody volunteering for English?
APJ Abdul Kalam, who was the former president.
I can do English.
One second, I better get. It is muted. All right, sorry. Is my voice coming through properly?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay,
Yes,
because
excellent.
last week I think Meena Mataji was saying that the sound is not loud enough. So please do let me know if the sound goes low. I've checked my settings. There's nothing that I can change, but maybe I was just sitting too far away at that time. Okay, so we've got Hema Mataji going to do Sanskrit for the first time. So thank you so much for taking the courage. It's very nice. All of us are getting experts in pronouncing Sanskrit, which is very, very good. Prabhupada would love that. And anybody for English?
I can do English, Prabhuji. Sharad.
Okay, sorry, what's your name? I got SK there. Who's
Sharad.
Sharon? Oh, Sharad, yeah, Sharad Prabhu.
Sharad, yes.
Sharad.
The Lugazi team.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
That is my Sasuru, right?
I know. That's your Sasru, yes.
So, okay, so let's go. So let's mute everybody else, and Sharad Prabhu and Hema Mataji can go whenever you're ready. I'm going to share the screen. One second, I'm going to share the screen first. Okay, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. This is the first time, as Mukunda Hari Prabhu said, I'm attempting to recite the Sanskrit verses, so please forgive me for any mistakes. Chapter 10, The Opulence of the Absolute, Vibhuti Yoga. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha, Bhuya Eva Mahabaho, Shrinu Me Paramam Vacha, Yatte Ham Priyamanaya, Vakshyami Hitakamyaya.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Listen again, O mighty armed Arjuna. Because you are my dear friend, for your benefit, I shall speak to you further, giving knowledge that is better than what I have already explained."
Text 2. Neme vidu suragana, prabhavam namaharshaya, aham adir hidevanam, maharshinam cha sarvasaha.
Neither the hosts of demigods, nor the great sages know my origin or opulences, for in every respect I am the source of the demigods and sages.
Text 3. Yo mam ajam anadim cha veti loka maheshwaram asamuddasa martyasu sarva papa pramuchyate.
He who knows me as the unborn, as the beginningless, as the Supreme Lord of all the worlds, he only, undiluted among men, is freed from all sins.
Text 4-5. Buddhi jnanam asamoha shama satyam damasama sukham dukkham bhavo bhavo bhayam chavyam evacha. ahimsa samata tushtist tapodanam yaso yasa bhuvanti bhava bhutanam mata eva prathagvida.
Intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt and delusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, control of the senses, control of the mind, happiness and distress, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame, and infamy. All these various qualities of living beings are created by me alone.
Text 6. Mahashraya sapta purve chato varo manavas tatha madbhava manasa jata yesham loka imam praja.
The 7 great sages, and before them the 4 other great sages, and the Manus, progenitors of mankind, come from me, born from my mind, and all the living beings populating the various planets descend from them.
Text 7. Etam vibhuti yogam cha mama yo veti tattvatta so vikalpena yogena vichyanti natra samsaya.
One who is factually convinced of this opulence and the mystic power of mind engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this, there is no doubt.
Text 8. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate iti matvam bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita.
I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts.
Text 9. Matchitta madgata pranam buddhayanta param paraskaram kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha.
The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me.
Text 10. Tesham satatam yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te.
To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me.
Text 11. Tesham evanukarpartham aham ajnajam sama nashayami atmabhavsto jnanam dipena bhashvata.
To show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance.
Text 12:13. Arjun uvacha param brahma param dhamam pavitram paramam bhavam purusham shashvatam divyam adi devam ajam vibhu ahustvam rasayam sarve devarishi naradastatha ashito devalo vyasa swayam chaivam pravishime.
Arjuna said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages, such as Narad, Asita, Devala, and Vyas, confirm this truth about you, and now you yourself are declaring it to me."
Text 14. Sarvam etadratam manye yanmam vadasi keshava nahi te bhagavan vyaktim vidur deva nagdanava.
O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me, neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality.
Text 15. Swayam evatmanatmanam veta tvam purushottamam bhuta bhavana bhutesha deva deva jagatpate.
Indeed, you alone know yourself by your own internal potency, O Supreme Person, origin of all, Lord of all beings, God of gods, Lord of the universe.
Text 16. Vaktum arhashi asheshena divya hi atma vibhutaya yabir vibhuti bir lokan imam stvam vyapya tishtatsi.
Please tell me in detail of your divine opulences by which you pervade all these worlds.
Text 17. Katam vidyam aham yogims tvam sudha parichintayam keshu keshu cha bhaveshu chintyosi bhagavan maya.
O Krishna, O Supreme Mystic, how shall I constantly think of you, and how shall I know you? In what various forms are you to be remembered, O Supreme Personality of Godhead?
Vistarenatmano yogam vibhutim cha janatana bhuya kathaya triptirhi shruvato nashti me mritam.
O Janardana, again, please describe in detail the mystic power of your opulences. I am never satiated in hearing about you, for the more I hear, the more I want to taste the nectar of your words.
Text 19. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Hantate Kathayami Divyahi Atma Vibhutaya Pradhanayat Guru Shrestha Nasti Anto Vistarashyame.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, yes, I will tell you of my splendorous manifestations, but only those which are prominent, O Arjuna, for my opulence is limitless.
Text 20. Aham Atma Gudakesha Sarva Bhuta Sayastita Aham Adischa Madhyam Cha Bhutanam Anta Eva Cha.
I am the Super Soul, O Arjuna, seated in the hearts of all living entities. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all beings.
Text 21. Adityanam Aham Vishnu Jyoti Samravir Amshumam Marichir Murutam Asmi Nakshatranam Aham Sasi.
Of the Adityas, I am Vishnu. Of lights, I am the radiant sun. Of the Maruts, I am Marichi. And among the stars, I am the moon.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Thank you, Haribo.
Sorry, Prabhuji, we can't hear you.
You are on mute, Prabhuji.
I'm so sorry. Yes, I forgot to unmute myself. I'm sorry. So what I was saying before was Hema Mataji, very, very nice Sanskrit for the first time. It was very, very good. Excellent. And Sharad Prabhu, perfect English. Very nice. Thank you so much, both of you. So I'm now going to just go straight to the presentation. Can you see the presentation on your screen now?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes,
Okay,
Prabhuji.
perfect. Perfect. So we're continuing reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10. What I want to do today, if you, with your permission, again, dedicate this class to my wonderful, compassionate Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Bhakticharu Swami Maharaj. May the Supreme Lord make his onward journey as smooth as he deserves. His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Guru Maharaj Ki Jai. So, as usual, we'll just do a quick recap for the verses so far. So, text 1 to 7, we read about understanding Krishna's nobility and serving him. 8 to 11 was the beautiful Chaturshloki Gita. And then the current section, 12 to 18, and today we actually on the text 18, so we'll be at the end of this particular section, which talks about Arjuna's acceptance of Krishna's position and his request to hear more of his opulences. So we'll go to today's verse, 10:18. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, text 18. Vistarenatmano yogam vibhutim cha janardana bhuya kathaya triptirhi shinvato nasti me amritam. Shinvato nasti me amritam. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. O Janardana, again, please describe in detail the mystic power of your opulences. I'm never satiated in hearing about you, for the more I hear, the more I want to taste the nectar of your words. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. A similar statement was made to Sutta Goswami by the rishis of Naimisharanya, headed by Shonaka. That statement is, Vayam tuna vithipyama uttama shloka vikrame yachunvatam rasa jnanam svadu svadu pade pade. One can never be satiated even though one continuously hears the transcendental pastimes of Krishna, who is glorified by excellent prayers. Those who have entered into the transcendental relationship with Krishna relish at every step the descriptions of the pastimes of the Lord. Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, first chapter, text 19. Thus, Arjuna is interested in hearing about Krishna and specifically how he remains as the all-pervading Supreme Lord. Now, as far as Amritam, nectar, is concerned, any narration or statement concerning Krishna is just like nectar. And this nectar can be perceived by practical experience. Modern stories, fiction, and histories are different from the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, in that one will tire of hearing mundane stories, but one never tires of hearing about Krishna. It is for this reason only that history of the whole universe is replete with references to the pastimes of the incarnations of Godhead. The Puranas are histories of bygone ages and relate the pastimes of the various incarnations of the Lord. In this way, the reading matter remains forever fresh, despite repeated readings. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Charu Swami Niti Namine. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we'll just skip back to the verse for a second. Let me see how I can do that. Yeah. So we just try and understand some of the key words from this verse. So, Bhuya Kathaya. Bhuya means again. So Arjuna is saying, tell me again. Tell me again, Kathaya, of the Katha, of the story, of your pastimes. So it's almost like, yeah, once more, please tell me again. So devotees, I want to ask you a question. Why is he using the word? Why is Arjuna using the word again? He wants to hear the opulences again. So have we heard these opulences before?
Yes, in the 7th chapter.
Yes, very good, excellent. Bye and Rajshri, yes. So we had a whole section of verses in the 7th chapter where Krishna starts off with 7:4. Bhumir apo nalo vayur kham mano buddhir evacha ahankara iti yamme bhinna prakriti ashtada. So he starts off by saying that, Arjuna, I am the taste of water, I am the light of the sun and the moon, I am the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras, I am the sound in ether, all that, right?
Ability in man.
Ability in man, yes, ability in man, yes. So, and then he continues, of course, in the next following verses. So these are the opulences. So now he's saying, Arjuna is saying again. It's almost like, when I was younger, before Krishna consciousness, we used to go to these music programs. My friend Ashok, maybe is online, Ashok Jogia, and I used to sort of frequent these places and listen to songs. And when somebody sang really nicely, we would say, once again, encore, encore, right? So this is what Arjuna is doing. Arjuna is saying, once again, please Krishna, tell me about your pastimes. This is moved on. So yes, again from the next verse onwards, Krishna will start talking about his opulences because of Arjuna's request. Then there's a phrase at the end which says, Triptir hi shrinvato nasti me umritam. So here is tripti, tripta means satisfaction. Hi shrinvato na. So shrinvato means hearing, satisfaction, hearing, na asti me, I'm not. So I'm not satisfied with what you've told me already. Amritam, the amritam. So this is saying, I'm not at all satisfied yet. Please tell me more. And this is the situation with all spiritual knowledge. As we all know, we can hear again and again, and we can still never be satisfied. And in the beginning, in the middle, he says, Janardana is addressing Arjuna addressing Krishna as Janardana. So Janardana refers to one of the names of Krishna, which means one who gives protection and liberation. So he's literally pleading to Krishna and giving him different names. And then the very first word, Vistarena, Vistara, we understand that word. Vistar means vast. So here it's saying in detail. Please give me in detail. In the 7th chapter, Krishna, you were miserly. You didn't give me too much. So now give me more. So this is the meaning of this verse. We've already done the Sanskrit. We'll pick up the main points from the purport. So right in the beginning of the purport, Prabhupada quotes this beautiful verse for which the sages, the Namik Charaniya, are speaking. The verse goes, so yeah, how does it go? Without going back. Vayam tu na vittipyama uttama shloka vikrame yashru muratam rasabhyanam swadu pade pade. So uttama shloka, again, one another name of Krishna is uttama shloka, one who is glorified by I've written it wrong here actually. One who glorifies by, no, one who is glorified by transcendental hymns. I'll correct that before I send it to you. So the Lord who is glorified by transcendental hymns and prayers, his name is Uttama Shloka. So you will hear many shlokas, many verses is referred to as Uttama Shloka. And then Swadu Swadu Pade Pade. So we relish the taste of this nectar Pade Pade at every step. Divine nectar. And so the nectar is such that it just keeps us satisfied at every time. Vikrame refers to Krishna's heroic activities. So we all love to hear Krishna's pastimes. Children, especially, when one of my services at the manor is drama on Janmashtami. This year, of course, we'll all miss that. But normally on Janmashtami, I serve at the children's area with the Yadurani Mataji. And one of my area of service is to prepare the children with dramas. So 4 or 6 weeks before Janmashtami, every week, twice a week, we meet at the manor and we do all these practices. And we always select these pastimes, or Lord Krishna, or Lord Ram, or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And these are all heroic activities, and children love to do that, and they all learn by doing these dramas. So Vikrame, heroic activities. So Arjun is interested in hearing about Krishna, and specifically how he remains as the all-pervading Supreme Lord. So as we know, one of the features of the Lord, the 3 features, one is the Bhagwan feature, other is the Paramatma feature, Paramatma within the heart, Bhagwan in the spiritual world, and then is the Brahman feature, which is the all-pervading feature of the Lord. So Arjun particularly is asking for that, and this is what we will hear in the following shlokas. So Prabhupada says in the purport, any statement concerning Krishna is like nectar. This we all know that. And this nectar can be perceived by practical experience. So we all know how we are riveted to pastimes of Krishna. Even if you think about Ramayana or Mahabharata, which was currently being shown on TV. My cousin Nilesh, who's not, he's okay, he's a pious person, but not particularly religious. But he loves the Mahabharata. He's seen it obviously before when it was previously shown, then he's seen it again from the recorded ones. But now again, he's just relishing it, and he would every time call me after every episode discussing details of what was going on. And of course, I'm not watching it right now. I don't have the time. But I hear him. I just appreciate his enthusiasm. But this is what I mean. He has seen this many, many times, but the nectar is still there. Now, if this was a mundane movie, you would probably maybe see a nice movie twice. But that probably is it. Anybody who sees it more than twice needs his head checking. But something like the Mahabharata, you could just carry on watching it again and again. So this is the difference. And we, like I say, practical experience, we can experience the nectar ourselves. And these topics are always, Prabhupada says, are ever fresh, not like our modern histories and stories. So you see, when we read the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, it is ever fresh. And every time we read, we get more and more from it. So it gets more and more illumination. So a page that you read today, if you read it tomorrow again, you'll find something new in it, right? It doesn't exist. If you read a mundane storybook, that doesn't happen. So this shows you that something very spiritual, very, very esoteric about these writings. Example so Prabhupada is saying that Puranas are the histories that relate to the pastimes of the Lord. That's why these Puranas they seem ever fresh, although they're thousands of years old. So I was just thinking while I was preparing, just to do a comparison, mundane versus transcendental. So mundane stories are static, really. Yeah, like I was saying earlier, you can read it once and that's about it. It's like matter. Matter is static. Whatever, any matter that's around us is static. It can only move. I'm moving my mouse because I need to move it, and if I don't put my hand on it, it remains where it is. It cannot move by itself. That's static. Compared to that, anything transcendental, like stories, mundane stories, was like, okay, transcendental. So anything transcendental is alive. So it's moving, right? So transcendental stories are like that. They're alive. The stories are alive. We have to believe that, and this is why we get the nourishment from it. Mundane activities, we quickly get satiated by them. Any activity too, anything, even if it's a really fun activity, after a while it gets boring. But transcendental or devotional activities, never satiated. I always give the example that again during Janmashtami, 1 month before or 3 weeks before, we all go every evening to the temple, doing various services. So we've all done a whole day's work at the offices or wherever we are, and we feel really tired. But when we go to the temple, we are just again rejuvenated, and we are sort of working away till 10 o'clock, 10:30, 11 o'clock, without any sign of tiredness. We just enjoy the service. But this is the difference, because it's devotional service, it's transcendental. Mundane literature, it's basically an mode of passion and ignorance, whatever we're reading. Newspapers, full of more passion and ignorance. People are attached to newspapers so much. Transcendental literature is above the modes. That's why it gets more and more luminous every time we read it. Last year we went to India, and I met one of the sannyasis, ISKCON sannyasis. His name is Praladana Swami. And I found out later on that he is so fond of reading the Bhagavad Gita that he's read it. At that time, he'd already read it 50 times, and he was continuing. So by now, it must be 50, 55, whatever. He just continuously keeps reading it. Now, who would do it? He's not a mad person. He's getting something out of it. That's why he keeps reading it. 50 times, 60 times, 70 times, people have keep reading Bhagavad Gita. You can't read a book like that, even if it is one of those popular Harry Potter books. It's just twice maybe somebody would read it, but if it was really a fan. But otherwise, that would be it, right? How to obtain the taste? This is the question, right? So it's always speaking, yeah, taste, and yes, we experience the taste, but when people are new or they haven't really, not really getting the taste, then there's a series of beautiful verses in the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter, which explain how one could get this taste if he hasn't developed it yet. So there's the first verse, which is 1-16, which it says, Shushrusho sadhanasya Vasudeva Katharuchi Shyan Mahat Sevaya Vipra Punyatirtha Nishevanat. Or twice born sages. So here, this is Sutta Goswami speaking to the sages of Naimisharanya. Or twice born sages, by serving those devotees who are completely freed from vice, great service is done. By such service, one gains the affinity for hearing the messages of Vasudeva. So here's the first point, service. By serving the devotees, he says, those devotees who are completely free from all vice. So these are pure devotees. So by any service we render to the devotees, we develop this stage, we get the affinity to hear the messages of the Lord. Next verse 17. Shunvatam swakatha Krishna punya savana kirtana hidyanta stopalhaya padrani vidunoti shuhit satam. Again, very, very nice verse. So Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, the super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of truthful devotee, cleanses the desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. So you see, by Krishna being the Paramatma, he can see that once we start to serve, he can develop. He himself then gives us the intelligence from within. We heard in the Chatushloki Gita, text 10, that Krishna gives the intelligence from within. Anybody who serves him. Anybody can recite text 10? Text 10, Satatam. One second, I should know that verse.
Did you want me to
That's it. Tesham Satata Yuktam. Bhajatam Piti Purvakam. Dadana Buddhi Yogam Tam Pramam Payanti. Sometimes I just need a push with the first few words and then it comes. So he gives from within the heart, he does this. So from within the heart, he removes the impurities and gives us the taste to hear. So hearing and chanting, this is the thing. It is something that we need to do to gain. So it says that it's like to gain taste for hearing and chanting, we need to do more chanting and hearing. So it's a little bit like Prabhupada gives always the example of what's that disease? Kamara is called jaundice. Yeah, jaundice. So when somebody has jaundice, apparently I've never experienced it, but when you have jaundice, you lose your taste somehow. Your taste gets confused, and when you're having something sweet, it doesn't take sweet. It tastes terrible to you apparently. But they say that actually the one way to cure jaundice is to keep drinking sugarcane juice. Sugarcane juice is very sweet, of course, but when the person with jaundice, he is tasting it, to him it tastes bitter. But then by carrying on with drinking it, gradually the disease goes down and then he starts to get the taste of the sugarcane juice as it should be. So similarly, when we initially don't have the taste, if we just keep on reading, we force ourselves to read a couple of pages a day of Bhagavad Gita, whatever. And that way, similar to this jaundice person, our taste will come gradually, and we develop a taste like that. Then this other verse, which is 1:2:18, very famous verse. Anybody know this 1:2:18? When I say it, you will all recognize it, because before every class, in the morning class, evening class, people would recite this verse. Nastapayam Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhagavati Naistagi. Thank you. So again, very, very nice verse. And the translation, of course, we all know this. By regular attendance in classes on Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is praised by transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Oh, just by coincidence, again, the Uttama Shloka word comes here, Uttama Shloka. And that is one of the names of Krishna, and here it says, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs. So the sequence is serve the devotees, hear from them, and that way you get the taste to hear. And once you get the taste to hear, the more you hear, everything that's troublesome within the heart. What's troublesome within the heart in terms of spirituality? What's troublesome is the anarthas we have in our heart. You know, we have the kama, krodha, kama, krodha, lobha, matsarya, those the 6, right? Lust, anger, greed, illusion, pride, envy. These are the anarthas within us. So these are cleansed. Here it says almost completely, because of course we still need to carry on, because if they are completely cleansed, then we would be on the Brahma Bhuta stage. But it's a process. It's a process, so it works gradually. But the major cleansing happens like this, by hearing and chanting. And we can take an example, beautiful example of Narad Muni. Narad Muni, we all know Narad Muni as an exalted devotee of the Lord, going around all universes, singing the glories of the Lord. So in his previous life, he was a very ordinary person. He was a son of a maid servant in a village somewhere. And there's a Chatur, which has just started actually. Chaturmasya starts around now. There's a period of Chaturmasya, 4 months, of the rainy season. In India, what happens is, because it's quite difficult to travel, in those days, the sadhus were mostly traveling by foot. So in that rainy season, the sadhus would stay where they are. Wherever they were, they would just stay. So in Narad Muni's village, there was these Bhakti Vedanta Swamis, the Bhakti Vedanta sages who were visiting, and then they stayed because of the Chaturmasya. And Narad Muni's mother began to serve them in terms of prepare food for them and just bring them water, whatever they needed. So she was serving them. And this is a very common thing in India. In India, when the sadhus are going around, people are very kind. People have a natural, this Vedic instinct of looking after sadhus. So sadhus, that's why even today, even though the world has moved on, but in the cities perhaps maybe not so much, but in the villages, people have this mood very much. If you arrive in a sadhu's dress, if you're dressed in a dhoti, kurta or saffron, and you arrive in a village, people will come and pay obeisances unto you. They'll bring you food, they'll bring you gifts, so like this. And they look after you like this. It's a very, very nice culture. So this way, Narad Muni's mother was looking after the sadhus, and Narad Muni was around 5 years old. And again, his taste wasn't just playing around like other children. What he was doing was helping his mother to serve these sadhus. So he would go and, take the water, take them food, take the plates away, clean them, and all that. And he would do that. And he would also, whatever was left in the plate from the sadhus, he would take the remnants of the sadhus. And then he would sit around when there was nothing much to do. He would sit and just listen to these sadhus. These sadhus were very, very exalted sadhus, so they would always not talk about anything mundane. They would just keep discussing Krishna Katha. So this little boy, Narada, his name was of course not Narada at the time, but he kept listening. So even at that age, he got a lot of benefit from these 3 activities. What are the 3 activities? He serves the sadhus. He takes the remnants of the meals, which is called Mahaprasad. We heard of Prasadam, then we have Mahaprasadam, which is when we say, for example, at the temple, when we have our lunch prasadam or dinner prasadam, we say it's prasadam because it's been offered. It's been prepared in the kitchen, it's been offered, and then we're having it. That's prasadam. But if anything comes from the altar, from the main altar, that's called Mahaprasadam. But something that has come from the altar and then it has been tasted by an exalted devotee, by a pure devotee, and then we take it, that is called Mahaprasadam. So this is what Narad Muni was having Mahaprasada. And the third thing that he was doing was hearing them speak transcendental subject matters. So this is what the sequence, if we do this, then we get purification, just as Narad Muni did. Because at the age of 5, what happened was then the Chaturmasya was over, the sadhus moved on. He wanted to, at that time, he wanted to go with the sadhus. And sadhu said, no, you are the only child of your mother, please stay behind, your mother needs you, stay here. Here in this picture, you can see the sadhus are about to leave. I'm not sure how clear the picture is for you, but Narad Muni is sitting there, eating something from their plates, but at the same time, he's obviously saying, I want to go with you, and that tall sadhu is saying, no, stay here. In the background, in the blue sari, you see his mother serving. So they said, stay back. But then as fate will have it, a few days later, his mother passed away with a snake bite. But now you imagine, at 5 years old, this child would be anartha, and he would be devastated. But because he'd heard the transcendental knowledge from the sadhus, he already had developed enough knowledge, even at that tender age, to know that, okay, my mother's passed away, but it's only the body now that's gone. My mother has already moved on to her next destination. I don't need to lament about it too much. Now I need to just, he took this as a mercy of the Lord to free him. So he can now go and focus. And then he then goes on and he starts to meditate on whatever he'd heard from the sadhus. And he actually gets the darshan of the Lord in this and that particular lifetime. But the Lord says to him, you need to take another birth and then you will get my darshan again. And then he takes second life, next life, he gets born as Narada Muni, and he gets this siddhis that he can travel wherever he wants. He can see the Lord whenever he wants. And this is the perfection he got just by spending those 4 months with those sadhus. So we can expect to obviously not become Narada Muni, but we can expect to make fast spiritual progress by following in his footsteps, by serving the sadhus or the devotees. And doing service to the temple is equivalent to serving pure devotees, actually. Because any service we do to the temple is indirectly doing service to the devotees there. Because if we didn't go and do the service, the devotees would have to do it themselves. And they would never cope. And hearing from the sadhus, listen to the morning classes, join these kind of sanghas and classes to hear about glories of the Lord, like that. And so you see, Prahlad Maharaj developed, I keep saying Prahlad Maharaj for some reason. Narada Muni developed, at this young age, he developed this detachment. So he was able to move away when his mother passed away without lamenting. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came to show us, he came to teach us detachment, bhakti and detachment. That's what his main purpose is. And this is a beautiful verse from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila 6.254, which was written by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, people who know this story, he was an impersonalist actually when he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But soon, of course, when you're in association with such a wonderful, exalted devotee, you don't remain an impersonalist. He became a personalist, and then he wrote a series of verses glorifying the Lord. And this is one of those verses. And this is one of those verses that devotees call it the necklace verse. We should wear it on our neck. Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga Shiksharthameka Purusha Purana Shri Krishna Chaitanya Shariradhari Kripam Buddhi Yastamaham Prapatye. It says, sorry, go back. Let me take the shelter. This is the prayer that we all should have. Let me take the shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, who has descended in the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to teach us real knowledge, his devotional service, and detachment from whatever does not foster Krishna consciousness. He is descended because he is an ocean of transcendental mercy. Let me surrender unto his lotus feet. So, this is the process. If we stick to this process that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us, we can automatically develop detachment. In the many other sampradayas, they also believe in detachment. They practice detachment, but they try and detach themselves artificially by blocking the senses from the sense objects. And in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, Krishna explains it's very, very difficult. This process is very difficult. You can't really do it, especially in Kali Yuga. It's not possible. Very difficult. But this process Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us is easy because we are not giving it up just per se, but we are taking on something more tasteful. So if somebody is addicted to having something, say for example, you're addicted to eating a lot of chocolate. So if you give him Mahaprasadam, if you give him Mother Kalangna's beautiful Mahaprasad sweets, his taste for chocolate will go because the taste of this Maha sweet is so beautiful, so nourishing. So you give up the lower taste by taking the higher taste. It's not easy to just give up the lower taste without replacing it. So this is the perfect process that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us. That we param drishtva nivartate. That by giving up by taking on the higher taste, we are able to give up the lower taste. So it's the 834. I will stop here and invite any questions, any realizations, any corrections, please. Everybody fine with today's class?
Hare Krishna, this is Ashwin here. Can you hear
Hare
me?
Krishna, Ashwin Prabhu.
I just wanted to say one thing. You mentioned about the two different types of stories. Can you share that slide again, please?
Yeah, I
Because
was wondering
I just
about
remembered
stories and
something.
transcendental stories, but I can just go share that again. 1 second. And we can just go back to that slide. Maybe I go to here.
Yeah, mundane stories and transcendental stories. So something which I wanted to reflect is that several times
Sorry, I'm not hearing Ashwin Prabhu, you're cutting off.
Srimad Bhagavatam. Can you
Ashwin Prabhu, your sound is there anybody else hearing it? Anybody else hearing it? I'm getting break in sound.
No, it is broke.
It's broken, right? Okay.
Yes, same Prabhu. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe you can try again.
I'm
Ashwin
sorry,
Prabhu.
my internet is going in and out. Can you hear me?
We can hear you now. Yes.
So very often when I am hearing stories from Srimad Bhagavatam, they are narrated as mythological stories rather than real stories. And I just remembered that every time I hear that these are mythological stories, not real stories, I don't know how to correct these people, because everybody wants to listen to them because they are so sweet, and everybody wants to listen to it again and again. So all the qualities are there which you have mentioned on the slides, but I don't know why they are called as mythological stories.
Yes. So okay. So Ashwin Prabhu, thank you so much for raising that, because this is such a big misconception. These are not stories. First of all, okay, we call them stories here. Also, I'm calling them stories, but we have to understand that first of all, people who call them mythological stories are definitely misled. It's not correct. These are histories rather than stories. These are pastimes that have happened, and we are reading them. And if you it's just like this. For example, if you go to the temple and you relate to the deities as just some marble statues, that is the reciprocation you will get. You'll get dead. You get nothing from that. But if you understand that that is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has by his own causeless mercy appeared in this form so that I can worship him, and there is no difference between this form here, Archa Vigraha, and the Supreme Lord is the same, right? Because Prabhupada himself, for example, as we're speaking about the manner, Srila Prabhupada himself has done the Prana Pratishtha process there. So we have to have that faith that this is the Lord himself. And if you do worship him with that faith, you will get reciprocation from him. We all get it. But if you say, so similarly, if you say that these are mythology, then you're not going to get anything from it. And they're not. Factually, they're not mythology. These are actually historical events that we are reading. So, sometimes they're allegorical stories, for example, right? That's different. For example, in the fourth canto of the Bhagavatam, in the pastime of Ritu Maharaj, there comes a situation where Narada Muni, yeah, he gives exactly. He gives, there's a king, and he gives them allegorical story about Puranjan and how, and the city of 9 gates. Some of you who read the Bhagavatam will remember this. But that actually is explained as an allegory. It's explained that this is actually an allegory. I'm giving you this so that you can learn from it. But that was an allegory. That's different. And it's there. Bhagavatam mentions that this is an allegory. But here, these are all stories. Narad Muni in his previous lifetime is not a mythological thing. It is a reality. It just happened. So we need to have that faith and that belief to get the full benefit of what we are reading.
Yeah. In fact, I know that some of the school textbooks also will mention them as mythological stories.
That's right. Correct. You're so right. And this is unfortunately where this real prevalent of impersonalism in India comes. This is the result of that. In India, there is a majority of people who are impersonalists. Vaishnavas are a minority, as we all know. And unfortunately, in all these educational departments, there is a majority of them, and this is how they will translate, and which is a very, very sad situation. But there you go. We have to keep doing our bit from our corner, and hopefully our messages will get heard loud enough one day.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Oh, sorry. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, my humble obeisances. Prabhuji, just want to pick up on the reference Prabhuji made that it being a mythology. There are a lot of archaeological facts that has been found, Prabhuji, which proves that Krishna's dynasty has been there. Mahabharata war had happened. So
Exactly.
if you go on research on Google, there's a lot of archaeological facts that has proven this.
Exactly, totally, absolutely, and people would also call Ram Katha completely mythological. But then we know that there is an image. There's images of that setu going from So it's like this. There are many, and even Westerners actually start to believe, and our Indians are not believing. This is a sad thing.
Yeah, Prabhuji, yesterday I was just reading Prabhuji. That's why I wanted to add one thing. There was one thing I came upon which says that in there is a Garuda Stuti in Bestnagar in Madhya Pradesh in India, which was which when carbon dating had done, or they studied the rocks, the fossils, and when they found that it was related to 175 BC, and there is a Greek sculptor who had written on the Garuda Stuti that his name is something, and it starts with a H. I can't remember the name at the minute, but he's written that my God is Vasudevan Krishna.
There you go.
He's written on this sculpture. I wanted to add that, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thanks for the opportunity.
So much. Thank you so much for sharing that, Harini Mataji. Thank you. So,
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. In mythology, I think when the British came, because they knew about the Greek mythology and they couldn't understand the Indian history and so much. So to stop the Indian people from showing that they are intelligent, I think they termed mythology, all the stories, Bhagavatam, everything, they termed everything as mythology, relating it to Greek mythology, and myth means something false, fiction.
Yes.
So from there the word started, mythology, and the British actually drilled into the Indians' brain that all your stuff is mythology, it's myth, it's not real, and that's how it's got into Indian head. People, because we were under the British, actually British rule for 200 years.
Correct,
so it's
correct.
drilled into Indian brains that it's all mythology and it's all false, fiction.
That is so true, actually. And Rupa Mataji, just to add to what you are saying, that recently I saw, I don't know where it was now, but I saw somebody share something where one of the very first senior British officers who was there, he has written a letter back to Churchill. And in that letter, clearly he is saying that these Indians, because of their very, very strong spirituality, we will not be able to break them. The only way to weaken them is to take the spirituality away from them. And like you say, these are some of the things that happened.
Yes, absolutely. It's going on even now in India. It's very sad. It's going on. Break Hinduism, break India. So it's going on even now. So if you break Hindu faith, and if you break the Indian spirituality, you can break India.
That's true. Exactly. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Not envy around the world about our spirituality. So we as people who have actually understood it, we should not let it go. We should just hold it strong and tell our friends and our family, whoever, do not be shy. Let's tell everybody that we've been misled. Sorry, somebody else was saying something?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhu, just wanted to comment that, like, yes, we Indians, we are not valuing our scriptures, but all the Westerners are valuing them, and they are seeking for the Vedic knowledge. So now they are, as Srila Prabhupada came, and they all are searching for it.
That's so
and
true.
They are finding more importance than us. So actually, we also have to, make importance of it and, study our Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam and educate others.
Thank you, Krishnamani Mataji. That's so true. Prabhupada used to say that, people are leaving Indian culture and going for the Western culture. But it is such a big mistake because the Westerners are coming to get Indian culture, to get our Vedic knowledge, and we are abandoning it, which is very, very sad.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, this is Nitai Mata. I just wanted to add, there's nothing called Hindu. Actually,
Yes.
the British brought this Hindu word, there's no Hindus in India, isn't it?
That is
So
true.
I think this is also something wrong that we say we are Hindus.
Yes.
Because that British just made the people who are living by the Sindhu River, they become more Hindus. And then
Yes.
that is how they brought this Hindu-Muslim thing as well, They
That
they
is
know
true.
how to divide, yeah. So this is also one thing. I just thought I would let you.
That is true as well. Prabhupada also says that the word Hindu doesn't appear in any of the Vedic scriptures.
No.
So Bharat is a name. Prabhupada used to call is Bharat, and also the Dharma is Sanatan Dharma,
Sanatan Dharma, yes.
not Hindu Dharma. Hindu is something that was labeled later. So okay, it's 10:46. Sorry, yeah, 8:46. What I want to do once again, as we did last time, if you don't mind, please, I will I will ask two people on my screen who I see first to please, if you want to, you can unmute yourself. Also, you can open your switch on your video if you like to introduce yourselves. And I'll just get the worksheet on my screen. 1 second. Give me a second. Stop sharing this first. This is something that Divanam is introducing, so we can